Howdy guys, Jeep and Jason here, and today in the AutoEdits garage, we're gonna be putting the shoes and socks on Joe's 1-ton Jeep here with these Hutchinson Rock Monster dual beadlock wheels and some Milestar Patagonia MT 37-12.5 tires. Now that was the big not surprise that we're putting 1-tons on his Jeep and we're putting 37-inch tires on. Usually it's a good indication that you can go 40s and up. Joe doesn't want to do that. He wants to keep his Jeep so he can fit it in his garage. There's some interesting reasons that actually work. He wants to make sure that he could just keep it in his garage, which, okay, I get that. You know, it'll keep it practical in that respect. And here's a really interesting thing. When you're starting with a Willys model, not a Rubicon, he has the regular transfer case with a 2.7 something to 1 gear ratio in low range instead of the 4 to 1 that the Rubicons have, like my Jeep. So having 513 gears there and the 271 transfer case with 37-inch tires will act very close to the 4 to 1 Rubicon in low range. So it actually is a good thing until he does that. So that's just another one of those reasons that even after all this, does it still behoove you to start with a Rubicon? Yeah, maybe. This is one of the reasons why I'm still glad I did, because I'm still rocking my stock rear axle still and the transfer case. So let's talk about the players in today's game. We're going to start with the Hutchinson Rock Monster beadlock, dual beadlock wheels. Now, I was kind of slow to come around to these, like just a few other items on this Jeep. You guys have heard me go, oh, why are we doing this? And then the more I learned about them, the more I actually laid hands on them. I'm like, these are cool. Real cool. It would seem that peace of mind comes at the cost of not only just dollars on Jeep builds like this, but also in pounds. These are awesome, but they're heavy, real heavy. We're gonna take a second to go and I'll show you the wheels, the beadlock wheels on my Jeep and kind of show you the differences here. Now, what we have, or the basics of how these things work, is that, and this is the genius of this, these are street legal. So these are not only a dual beadlock, not just like on mine, like a traditional beadlock where you have the outer lip just biting onto the edge of the lip of the tire here. These actually, this rubber thing, this little doohickey in the middle here, I want to just make sure I'm not messing this thing up. This is the key to this. So this right here will go inside the tire and then it grabs both the inner and outer beads of your tire, keeping them in place, and then this sandwiches on the outside and squishes all that together. That's the basics of how these work. And what's really cool about that is that it not only offers dual inner outer bead locking capability, they are street legal. There are only a couple of companies that actually offer a DOT, and that's Department of Transportation approved beadlock wheel for a road-going Jeep. A lot of them have to say that it's off-highway use only. So that's the basic rundown of the Hutchinson Rock Monster wheels that we're going to be using. I'm going to mount those up and show you how to do that right now. We'll hopefully get the Jeep on its tires, on the ground today. So that'll be exciting. Let's talk about the tires. we're going to be going with the Milestar Patagonia MTs. No, not sponsored. Joe bought these tires. I like mine. I don't really have a complaint. The Jeep, I have 20-something thousand miles on mine. We'll take you over there in a second and when we show you the wheels and show you the wear and tear. I'm really happy with them. I like the 38s personally. I think that intermediate size is perfect for a lot of us. I think that they pretty much, once you build your Jeep to handle 37s, the 38 just offers an exponential growth in performance that I really, really dig. So the intermediate size is where I'm at. So let me show you the beadlocks on my Jeep to give you a comparison from these. So on my Jeep, I'm running the Vision 398 F Manx beadlock, 17x9 I think these are. And what I really like about these, and I did a video on this, I'll put a link in the description, on mounting these up. And this is what I consider when I think of a beadlock, a traditional beadlock, this is it. There's an aluminum ring that pinches the outer bead of the tire onto the barrel of the wheel, and that keeps the tire from spinning, but of course, and keeps this from debeading and losing air. But the inside is just a traditional friction bead of a tire, so it's susceptible to pulling off. I've never seen that or done that you know, I don't get that rad, obviously. So, but that's a thing. Now, what I got with this was a pretty cool looking wheel, but it's also really light. So they're in the same ballpark price-wise. What I like about this style, which is I'm curious to see how the Hutchinson wheels hold up, is that when I do gash these on the rocks, as you can see I've done quite a bit of, I actually just come back through here with a flap disc on an angle grinder and just take all the burrs off and just keep rocking the thing. So I kind of like that feature of these. They're light, but again, back to the not legal technically. These aren't street legal wheels, they're off-highway only. So you kind of have to take that as a bit of a gamble. Again, I try to just be as respectful a driver as I can on the road. So if I get pulled over and get that ticket, that's on me. So, you know, I chose to go this route. But let's mount those things up. So Joe wants to run tire pressure sensors in here, and I think that's cool. I try to run those in my Jeep as well. So that's just a matter of putting this little metal bracket on the inner beadlock mechanism here. I happen to have one of these fancy little tube valve pullers here, and you just you know, a pair of channel locks on that will probably do it. But you want to just pull that through. And that'll do that. Now that we have this ready to rock, let's go ahead and get that stuffed inside our tire. Now that's a simple matter of being careful not to hurt your TPMS sensor that you just put in. A couple of you emailed me about the bone gloves I have here. These are from Grease Monkey, and they're a nitrile coated glove. These are kind of my go-to. I'll put a link to Amazon store if you like them. I love them. These are kind of my definitely go-to gloves. They have a bunch of different ones, but these are the ones I've kind of gravitated towards for most of my general use stuff. All right. So what I'm gonna do, since this could be the heavy spot of the tire, we're gonna have these spin balanced anyway. I'm gonna put the stem here on this side just to counter that weight, I guess, right? Who knows, who cares? They're gonna work fine. Now, take a little bit of lube. It's time to also pick what side of the tire you want out, depending on the tires that you have, right? So I'm a white letters out guy, so I'm gonna put white letters out. So let's go ahead and commit to that. Here we go. Psych. Actually, this is the right way to go. But I know Joe watches these videos, and when I pulled this tire apart off of this thing, he had white letters in. So I'm not gonna enforce that on him, but I did want to give him a little bit of a cringe moment where he's like, no, from the other side of his computer. Sorry, Joe, we're going white letters in, don't worry. Anyway, so this goes in. Let's go ahead and just get that to its new home. Now, before we throw this into place, we're just gonna go ahead and wipe down the seal. Down inside here is where the mating surfaces will go. And so we'll just clean off all of that stuff. And then you take your little rubber seal, and we'll just be careful. And they say that the thing to really be careful of is that you don't roll this into place. So we'll just get that into position and feeling like it's not gonna try to jump off on us. And it doesn't, it feels pretty good. Let's put this aside for a second. Let's put a little bit more lube on here. We talked about this last time about how I'll reuse a spray bottle, a Windex spray bottle a gazillion times, but then we throw thousands of dollars at our Jeeps on parts and upgrades. We're funny. Car people are funny. Okay, stem. Make sure that your seal's still in place and looking pretty happy. Stem goes here towards the high life, and down we go. Okay. All right, you just need to do that enough to where once you get your bolts started, there's a genius system here. And these bolts are pretty cool. They're like self-locking little bolts. I put a little bit of Toolbox Buddy. I just sprayed it inside this little thing here. So all of them have a nice little coating of oil. I've seen people put anti-seize, but these are all steel. Now, what you do is, since the bolts are staggered with these long lengths, it makes this so dang easy. So now all we have to do is, now that we have all these 4 tall bolts with nuts on them, we can go ahead and just kind of start getting this down into place. And now is not the time to rush. Just kind of get her, you can just see it kind of start to cinch down. So now we know the thing is captured and it's in place. So let's just go ahead and get nuts on all of this stuff, and then we can go around and get them all buzzed tight and then torqued to 100 foot-pounds each. So install-wise, way less back-breaking than normal beadlocks. So it wins in that category for sure. It's fascinating to me how heavy these things are. I weighed one of the other ones compared to, so the 38-inch tires on my Jeep with the Vision wheels are 111 each. These with a 37 on these, 129 pounds each. So that just goes to show you they're much heavier, not just kind of heavier, they're a lot heavier. But again, they're cool. I'll give them that. They are extraordinarily cool. All right, so let's buzz these down. All right, set to 100. Let's torque them all down. Okay, we're all torqued. Now they come with these cool little plastic caps for all of them. And I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna drive it a little bit and then retorque them. So I'm gonna wait to put these on. I may let Joe put those on, but let's get this thing filled with some air. That doesn't have to go that tight. So let's see what we got here. We'll go to 28. That's where I run my tires cold, all of them. And I've been extremely happy with these tires at 28. All right, so it's that simple to get these things mounted. I definitely think that that is a cool factor in these things. So let's get these on the Jeep. All right, this whole 8-lug thing is new to me. Curious to see how the back spacing, all of that stuff works out if we have to run spacers or whatnot. Setting a Jeep up like this from scratch it's a lot of work. It's fun though. I'm weirdly enjoying it, but I'll be glad when it's done. I just found some problems. The Mustang just did a new trick in the driveway where the clutch slave cylinder just puked all of its fluid out, and I can't drive the Mustang right now. That's driving me crazy. So it's kind of cool to get Joe's Jeep running at this moment so we can get it out of here, get the Mustang in, and get onto some other stuff as well. All right, this is a big moment. Joe's Jeep is now a roller again. Let's get it out and look at it sitting on its new suspension, axles, all of that stuff. Let's roll it out, have a look. Ooh, it's close. And it's just gonna rub right there. Well, I gotta say, this feels pretty dang good. Having Joe's Jeep rolling on its own, moving under its own power out of the garage for the first time in a while, and it's neat. It's really cool to look at the two Jeeps. 1 tons, Dana 44, which one looks better or beefier to you? They look really similar. I gotta say, the extra width on the axles here really adds a lot to this thing. I still have a ton to do. This fender, gotta put all that stuff back on. I mean, there's just so much. Here's another fun little realizations. Remember a couple videos ago when I was complaining about the sway lock sway bar? Well, thanks to you guys, I've started to do a little more research and really started to dive into it, greased it, did some maintenance to it, did some adjustments and trimming on the body mounts here, because when I was going through cycling the suspension, it was hitting and not giving it full up travel to the maximum of the bump stops. So I did the trimming, made it work, lubed everything up. It actually is pretty cool. Okay, I get it. I don't know if I still am on board with having an air-powered sway bar disconnect. I like the electric, just I don't want to have a compressor running, but I get it. It's pretty cool. So I'm coming around, learning. But otherwise, there it is. I really do dig the wheels and tires on this thing. I think it's really aggressive. You see, it's barely fits out of the garage. So I can't wait to see what's next. Now we can start spreading it around to some other projects. And thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, enjoy your drive.